afternoon. Welcome to graduation exercises for the class of 2019. We ask that you please remain seated as the faculty and graduates enter the auditorium.
stand for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
On the behalf of the class of 2019, I wish to welcome all family members, friends, distinguished guests, and esteemed faculty members. A few weeks ago, Mr. Robb emphasized to our class the meaning of our graduation ceremony that has resonated with me. This past week has been focused on the graduates with events like class night and senior assembly, but our graduation ceremony is immensely different. As I look upon hundreds of faces observing our graduation ceremony, it is evident that today is equally as important for our guests as it is for our graduates. All those in attendance have helped the 145 members of the class of 2019 to grow into the individuals we are today, and for that, we are profoundly thankful. We owe you our deepest gratitude and respect. At some point in our lives, we have all assembled a puzzle. The number of pieces in a specific set may vary. Some have thousands, while others just a few. When we were young, we tackled puzzles which contained very few pieces. Each was large, colorful, and easy to manipulate. It was easy to differentiate the right piece from the wrong. When it was assembled, the theme was quite straightforward and seemed to make so much sense. As a young child, our life's puzzles were rather simple. However, as we have grown older, the complexity has increased. When we entered Wacona as freshmen, over 1,400 days ago, the pieces of a new puzzle were scattered in disarray before us. None of us were quite sure where to begin, or even what our final personal masterpiece would look like. Completing our puzzle would take more decisions. Freshman year brought a plethora of new questions. What classes should I take? Should I join a club or a team? And if yes, which one? And of course, most importantly, who should I sit with in the cafeteria? As time progressed, we began to experiment with our puzzles, trying to fit certain pieces with others. We tried new activities, created new relationships, and took new classes. We learned to make adjustments in order to make progress and growth. More people began to enter and leave our lives. There were pieces that were more nuanced in their shape and place in our world. Sometimes we asked for help when solving our puzzles. Sometimes people stopped by and offered help. Sometimes we just needed to be left alone to figure it all out. While some pieces did not quite fit, others fell right into place. By our senior year, the final appearance of our puzzles appeared to take shape. More and more pieces fit into their designated places to create an intricate and, in many cases, very satisfying picture. Over 1,400 days ago, we walked into Wacona as young, timid freshmen. We certainly are not the same people who will leave this ceremony today. We finished the puzzle of high school. The class of 2019, no doubt, creatively united our pieces to tell amazing stories. Everyone's story is different, for we all have different passions, perspectives, experiences, and aspirations. But one thing our stories share is that we all crafted our puzzles here, under the roof of Wacona Regional High School. We learned here that at some point, it takes a great deal of patience and concentration to solve our puzzles. Some of the problems we encounter may never be solved, but here at Wacona, we learned that there is joy in trying. It isn't always about what our final product looks like. It is the knowledge we gained that help us to become better problem solvers. Academic information and facts are important, but the ability to apply them to the puzzles of life are even more important. Robert Louis Stevenson said, "To travel hopefully is a better thing than to arrive, and the true success is to labor." As we engage in that travel and those labors, will we commit not only to solving our own problems, but determine how we can solve the greater problems in our community? We now have the fundamental tools and skills, but will we be puzzle solvers or the ones who watch others solve puzzles? Will we have the motivation to solve problems that will make things better for others? Will we commit to a cause greater than ourselves? This class, through their individual and collective actions over the past 4 years, have given us that answer. We will indeed. Thank you. I will now invite my classmate Holden Nelson, the salutatorian, to the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, faculty, band, chorus, friends, family, friends of family, family of friends, good afternoon. Today we are here in the soon-to-be sweltering gymnasium to celebrate the graduation of Wacona Regional High School's class of 2019. As the salutatorian of this class, I have been given the distinct honor of having to complete yet another homework assignment weeks after class has ended. While brainstorming, trying to come up with ideas for this speech, I came across a definition from the highly esteemed and well-respected UrbanDictionary.com. Salutatorian, noun. The less important of 2 high school students who have to give a speech on graduation day. Really helped boost my ego. But I would make the case that not a single one of us up here today is more important than anyone else. While some of us have been given fancy titles and epithets and decorations, valedictorian, class president, National Honor Society member, and so on and so forth, to make us appear more different than others, there's no one in this class who is not remarkable in their own right. In this crowd behind me, there are state champions, a school board committee representative, athletes, actors, singers, dancers, volunteers, political activists, babysitters, mechanical wizards, Eagle Scouts, filmmakers, musical instrument makers, scholarship earners, event organizers, those who have struck fortune and those who have had tragedy struck upon them, stock traders, horse riders, Kahoot winners, and so many more. Some may say it's an ironic point to make, the case that we're all individuals while we stand together wearing identical gowns and receive almost identical pieces of paper, giving us all identical qualifications in the job market, but that's kind of the point. Though seemingly indistinguishable from an outsider's perspective, in the context of our lives, we're all important. As Mr. Robb has alluded to our class over the past several months, much like the individuals that comprise it, the class of 2019 has left an impressive legacy upon this school. We've been involved in the community, academically high achieving, and positive role models for underclassmen. We'll even affect the lives of future Wacona warriors, as I know of at least a few students who have caused outdated school policies to change. None of it would have been possible without a strong work ethic and dedication. When faced with a challenge, we step up to meet it, no matter what form it manifests itself in, be it something as simple as homework or as involved as working to benefit the community. It's important that all of us never let that drive die and instead nurture it with our whole beings, regardless of the obstacle. To very loosely quote musical satirist Tom Lehrer, life is like a sewer. Sometimes it'll stink, sometimes you'll have to deal with other people's crap, but in the end, what you get out of it depends on what you put into it. And now, much as all of the paths of our independent lives have converged upon this junction, we will all soon disperse. We have grown together, we have learned together, and at this time, we must say goodbye together. For some of us, our education will end here, and we'll be joining the workforce immediately. For others, we'll be joining a branch of the military. And for a vast number of us here today, we'll be pursuing further education in colleges and universities across the country, from Maine to Montana. Wherever it is we may wander off to as we continue the next chapter of our lives, know that the interactions and actions we have made here in this building will continue to linger in these halls and in the minds of those we leave behind. My wish for all of us is that as we carry on after graduation, we keep with us the spirit of hard work that our class is famous for. We keep doing whatever it is that sets us apart from everyone else, and that will all someday be remembered elsewhere as we will be here. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2019.
I would now like to invite our valedictorian, Anna Duquette, to the podium.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Kasna, Mr. Robb, Mr. Messina, School Committee Chair Dr. Kraft Reese, friends, family, distinguished guests, and class of 2019. Thank you all for joining us in our gathering today. Now I know that I'm valedictorian of my class, but in reality, what other qualifications do I have to be saying this speech? I'm hardly 18 and a half, and I've barely even hit the tip of my life's iceberg. Frankly, I'll have to admit that I do not have anything to say which will help solve the world's problems, stop poverty, or eliminate the crushing national debt. My experiences in life lie mainly within the boundaries of this town and mostly within the antiquated brick walls of this school. Today, while the Wacona building has served us well, as graduates, we know that it needs help. And thankfully, it's going to get it. As of April 2019, there are official plans to build a new Wacona. Initially, these plans were exceptionally exciting to me, especially because I have served as the student representative on the Wacona School Building Committee for the past 3 years. I was excited for the future generations who won't have to deal with the somewhat dilapidated state of the building. Yet the more I thought about it, it dawned on me that the physical entity behind all of our memories formed in this building would be imminently destroyed. When we come back to this area, the Wacona we know, and sometimes love, will be gone. At the time of my epiphany, I knew it was selfish of me to expect future generations to continue going to school in this building. Yet somehow I couldn't picture Dalton without our Wacona. Our Wacona holds some very meaningful memories. Here is a list of what I deem as my top 5 unique memories we've experienced in this building. Number 1, the The time we left the gym during our yoga class because the wind was blowing so hard it sounded like the roof was going to collapse. Number 2, the time mice ate all of Miss Smith's snacks, not the kind of class pet we had imagined. Number 3, the time it was a sauna in Miss Donovan's room, but we had to wear our winter coats in Mrs. Shannon's room. Number 4, the many times the toilet broke in the girls' bathroom. Number 5, and most importantly, the times when the ceiling tiles fell on ourselves or our classmates. While these memories may make us look back on our Wacona experience with slight distaste, we must remember that these are some of the memories that have made our high school experience so unique and special. Not many other high schoolers can boast that their high school had drafty windows, a failing roof, and a dying heating system. But putting that fact aside, we must face the undeniable truth that this building will not always be here for us. We will not be able to take our children here and say, "That is the bathroom I signed a petition to have opened," or "That's where I tripped and fell running up the only 4 stairs in the entire building." I find it sad that as so many of us have worked so hard to make this building a better place, much of our work will go down with the building. Yet, it is not just our memories and legacy that will go down with the building. It is the thousands of memories and legacies left behind by Wacona alumni that will go down as well. So it is up to us and the greater Central Berkshire community to keep the memories of Wacona alive. These are the memories that haunt our halls each and every day. We should take the time to remember that when Wacona first opened its freshly painted doors, girls wearing pants to school was mainly unheard of, and girls playing sports was absolutely outrageous. Smoking was allowed in the courtyard, and only 1 electrical outlet was necessary in each classroom. And over the course of 6 world-changing decades, Wacona was transformed into what we see before us today. I imagine not only the history the building has seen, but the vast array of human interactions which have passed through these halls. The breakups, fights, friendships mended and formed, hugs and kisses given, laughter heard, wisdom imparted, and love shared. These aging brick walls have seen more life than we can possibly imagine. Potentially, as we look back, we can see beyond the falling ceiling tiles and find inspiration in the life and opportunities that Wacona has given us and so many others. I can personally attest that thanks to Wacona's alphabetized lockers, my parents met, dated, broke up, and found their way back to each other. Without Wacona, I would not be here. Clearly, this building has given us so much, and it's still giving us more. And the last gift our Wacona is giving all of us is the key to a new Wacona, a new opportunity to learn and grow as a community. This may seem scary. Central Berkshire will have to traverse new and foreign educational territory. Similarly, as we graduates say goodbye to Wacona, we must all begin to build our lives, which do not revolve around a 6-period day, 5 days a week in this building. We will be leaving behind all that is comfortable to us, the familiar organization of classrooms, the warm light shining through the windows, the recognizable scents traveling through the halls, and even the erratic behavior of the heating system. As imminent Wacona graduates, we can view the opportunity of the new Wacona similar to the opportunity that we are facing today. We are prepared for our futures. Whether you are going to college, work, or the military, we are all going places. We are all about to step into the void of the unknown, and we will lack something familiar to cling to. How we use this opportunity, that is what will define our futures. As we step off, no matter what path we choose to take, I wish that all of us, as individuals, may always take advantage of the opportunities given to us. Like the opportunity our community faces right now with the building of the new Wacona, many of us will face opportunities within the next few years which will have the power to alter the course of our lives. And I say to you, many years down the line, if there's an opportunity to further your education, grab it by the tail. If there's an opportunity to better your relationships with the people around you, take it without fail. If there's an opportunity to be happy when surrounded by dire circumstances, use it. And if there's an opportunity to find peace intertwined with passion, choose it. I don't know where all of our paths are heading. To be honest, I don't even know where my path is heading. But I do know that incredible things are happening in the world, here and everywhere. So, class of 2019, let's make ourselves a part of these incredible things. As we go out into the world, we must remember that it is up to us to keep the memories of Wacona alive. And when an opportunity comes knocking, open the door. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2019. We made it.
I would now like to call upon our superintendent, Lori Kasna, to address the class of 2019.
So when I first had the opportunity to look at the program for today, I thought to myself, well played, Mr. Rob. You have three incredibly intelligent, incredibly hardworking people who are going to speak before me, between themselves and you. I did not also know, to use an Eastern Mass phrase, they are also wicked funny. So the bar has been set. But certainly, two things have always struck me about Wacona since I arrived in Central Berkshire 5 years ago. One being that they are always people first. I would actually term Mr. Rob a people first principal. They're people first in everything they do. The second being they never run a graduation that lasts over an hour and is not student centered. So I will be brief. There's really three things that I always want to say to the graduates, and they are somewhat unique to the Wacona Regional High School, because the first one I don't think is necessarily something people always feel compelled to say on a day like today, and it's thank you. Thank you for all you've done. They continuously have contributed to this community. This community is different because of what they have done here. I had the pleasure about 4 years ago of participating in a conversation with a group of young women sitting behind me who are now seniors and at the time were ninth graders. And they were talking early in the fall about whether or not they'd stay at Wacona, would they go to a different high school at some point, what would they participate in, what wouldn't they? Interestingly, 4 years later, I know they are some of the most impactful students that we have had here at Wacona. So know your power, know the impact of your decisions, know how important you are to the communities that you choose to participate in. Thank you for everything you've done. Wacona is different because of you, as is the community. You'll have new communities, but please always come back here as well. The second thing is congratulations. I think in this day and age, we've gotten used to high school graduations, but when you think of them, they really require some of the most prescriptive, compliance-driven requirements that students have to meet, probably that they'll ever have to meet in the rest of their lives. We put them on these paths at 3, 4, 5, and it's somewhere along the line, as Mr. Messina and Mr. Rob can attest to, they have to start making the decisions to continue on that path. And they all have, and I'm so happy for them and their families today. And the last thing I would say is go for it. You've made an amazing achievement here today. It's one of, I'm sure, many that you'll have. You'll have a lot more choices in the rest of them, and make those choices wisely, but I have full confidence you will, having observed you for the past 5 years. So congratulations to our graduates. Congratulations to all of the family, staff, community members who supported them in getting here. Thank you.
I would now like to invite Principal Aaron Robb to the podium for the presentation of the class of 2019.
I'm going to do you one better and introduce the Wacona Choir to sing a musical selection.
I could give one gift to you, as solid as the morning dew, a window pane the light shines through, the spaces in between us, a gift for you my heart would bring, the sweet release of everything, the breath I take before I sing, the spaces in between us, trusting in what might arise without a thought preceding, as simple as a baby's sigh, resting and receiving. It's not what keeps our souls apart, but what connects and dreams us. The vast potential of the heart, the spaces in between us.
I offer what my heart has found, the silent love that's all around, a symphony without a sound,
The spaces in between us. If I could give you more than this, let it be forever's kiss. Mindful of my mindlessness, spaces in between us.
the spaces in between.
The spaces in
I will now reintroduce Mr. Robb to the podium for the presentation of the class of 2019.
Thank you, Victoria. First, I'd like to offer my sincere thanks and congratulations to the Wacona Choir for singing so beautifully for us today. Thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to thank another group for coming out and playing for us on Thursday night and then again this Sunday afternoon. Let's hear it for the Wacona Band. Superintendent Kasna, school committee members, my fellow district administrators, graduates and their families, and distinguished guests. On behalf of Assistant Principal Steve Messina and myself, I'd like to welcome you to Wacona Regional High School's 58th graduation ceremony. We are gathered here today to pay final tribute to Wacona's class of 2019. Before we acknowledge the students sitting before you, I would like to recognize some other folks in attendance today. First, I'd like to take a moment to recognize our senior class advisors. While I have the pleasure of working with them every day, I had the distinct privilege of working directly with them over the course of the last couple of weeks. And during that time, we had opportunities to reflect on their 4 years working with the class of 2019. Ms. Shannon commented on the fact that this class was able to overcome differences like no other class she's ever worked with before. She also stated that this class frequently worked independently and, simply put, got it done. Ms. Sweigel told me that she was always impressed with how compassionate this group could be, in addition to being hardworking, intelligent kids. She also stated that in all of her years as a class advisor, this is the best she's ever worked with. Being a class advisor is both rewarding and sometimes stressful work, but for the past 4 years, I've been very thankful knowing that we had 2 teachers who deeply care about the students in this class. So I'd like to ask our graduates to please join me in thanking Ms. Sweigel and Ms. Shannon for all of their efforts over the last 4 years. In an effort to complete the full circle of this class's educational experience, we instituted a new tradition several years ago to give our students the opportunity to return to their elementary and middle schools one last time as graduates. This has proven to be a pretty popular event. In keeping with that theme, all of our district principals and administrators have joined us here today to represent their respective schools and to help celebrate the class of 2019. While at this moment our seniors are graduating from Wacona, the reality is they are graduating from Central Berkshire Regional School District, and these folks in attendance today remind us of that. Thank you all for the work that you and your schools have done on behalf of our graduates. I'd like to express my personal and professional gratitude to my administrative colleagues and ask that they please stand briefly to be recognized. There are 2 other acknowledgments I'd like to make before I address the graduates. By now, many of you may be aware that our unified track and field team won the Division II state championship on Wednesday. That worked out perfectly because I literally wrote pause for applause right there. If you weren't aware, you might be aware of the sirens that were rolling through town at about 10 p.m. Unified athletics is something I believe has helped to elevate the level of inclusiveness in our school. Because of unified athletics, we can say without hesitation that every single student at Wacona has an opportunity to play a sport. Not all schools can say that, but we would not have a unified program if it weren't for the efforts of our athletic director. I'm not sure if he's in the room at the moment. He may still be parking cars out front, but I'd like to offer our sincere thanks to Jared Shannon for all that he does to our school. He may still be parking cars, I don't know. Oh, there you are. Good. That was quite a morning. Yeah. And finally, I'd like to offer up my sincere thanks to the person who I believe has one of the most difficult jobs in the school, or in any school for that matter. I'm deeply appreciative of the work that he does without any fanfare whatsoever, and I'm proud of the work we're able to accomplish together. Therefore, I'd like to publicly thank our assistant principal, Steve Messina. And now for the class of 2019. Back in late August, on your first day of school, Mr. Messina and I warned you that this school year was going to fly by. And now here you are. Every year I look forward to seeing what quote our graduating class chooses to hang above their heads on graduation Sunday. This year your class chose one from the 19th century transcendentalist, essayist, and philosopher, Ralph Waldo Emerson. With this quote, he pushes all of us to take a good look at what lies within us. Whether you realize it or not, Ralph Waldo Emerson was deeply troubled by the way in which American society was evolving in the early to mid-1800s. As you learned in history classes, During that time, there was the issues of states' rights, slavery, and the overarching struggle our country was going through as we were learning to stand on our own 2 feet as a fairly new nation. All of those things concerned Emerson, but what really shook him was his concern for the way we were evolving as people, as individuals. He was bothered by the fact that we were beginning to accept certain societal ills as inevitable, as simply issues that would never go away. He was frustrated with the American people sitting on their hands and watching our society devolve into something it was not intended to be. Civil discourse was beginning to disintegrate, and political factions were becoming entrenched. Those same factions disseminated the news with their own version of the truth. And our political leaders were becoming more and more corrupt as they abandoned whatever moral convictions they once had and pandered to their respective factions. In spite of all of that, Emerson had a deep-rooted faith in 2 key things: freedom and the individual capabilities of people. One of my roles on a day like today is to help define the legacy of our graduating class. So I'm left wondering, what lies within all of you? I'll start by tackling the low-hanging fruit first. Simply put, this class is loaded with champions. You've just won a lot of stuff, and it's pretty remarkable. You've made us laugh and cry on stage, and in some cases, even in class. Mostly laugh. You've moved us with your musical and artistic talents, and you've helped to elevate the importance and popularity of dance within our community. But there's even more than that. You've made the conscious decision to serve your country, either in our nation's armed forces or in our nation's classrooms. You've gone the extra mile to ensure that our school and our community as a whole is as inclusive as it can possibly be. You've challenged our thinking and pushed our limits of understanding about race, gender, and equity. You somehow got our entire school to compost food. How many principals get to stand in front of a large crowd on a day like today and talk about compost? I can only be so fortunate. You made a clear statement that you're sick and tired, like the rest of us, of the scourge of gun violence in our nation's schools. And on a bus ride to Boston just a few days ago, you came together and made the collective decision to actually do something on behalf of a fellow classmate who suffered a tragedy just 1 week ago. That's what lies within you. And that is what Ralph Waldo Emerson was talking about. Because what lies within you as individuals is the capability to create positive, meaningful, and lasting change in the world. With all of that in mind, and before you leave us, I'd like to leave you with this parting thought. Leonardo da Vinci once said, and I quote, "I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do." He continues, "It had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things." On behalf of the staff of Wacona Regional High School, I wish you nothing but the very best as you go out, apply what lies within you, and then happen to things. Thank you all. We rehearsed this next part. This is when they kind of start sitting up straight, getting their feet flat on the floor, looking off into their distant future. That was a cue. On behalf of the staff of Wacona Regional High School, School Committee Chair Dr. Kraft Reese, Superintendent Kasna, Assistant Superintendent Falkowski, and distinguished members of the Central Berkshire Administration, I stand before you today with great pride to certify and attest that the students seated before you have met and in many cases exceeded all state and local graduation requirements set forth by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and Central Berkshire Regional School District. Therefore, on behalf of the dedicated faculty of this great school, it is my distinct honor to present to you Wacona Regional High School's class of 2019.
Holden Nelson. Gabrielle Orlando. Sarah Houle. Victoria Gambaroni. Julia Drury. Anna Duquette.
Alexandra Pierce. Libby Walker. Danelle Buckley. Coral Lobowitz. Piper Bryant. Jocelyn Jones. Danielle Orlando. Aspen Burke. Emma Doan. Tiffany Oakes. Ariana Hover. Caitlin Lockenwitz. Nicole Trova. Madeline Wenling. Maddie Noyes. Emily Lancaster.
Joseph Buddy Clark. Eliana Jenny Marie Clark. Zoe Jade Danzy. Brenna Kate Knopper. Caitlin May Cuson. Hannah Louise Peralt. Grace J. Moriarty. Brooklyn Elizabeth Pratt. Emily Ann Ruger. Annalise Town Kramer. Deanna Lee Wood. Madeline Marie Heon. Alexandria Lynn Schultz. Mia Kayla Janakopoulos. Ethan Wesley. Haley Christina Siki. Madison Lynn Latano. Autumn Jalen McAdoo. Elspeth Wright. Caitlin Hillebrand. Victoria Partridge. Gabby Marie Mayhew.
Paige Nicole Grattan. Sierra Henry. Jessica Rinaldi. Sydney Andrews. Kelsey Lee. Rachel Kays. Emily Hart. James Keister. William Marjalek. Brianna Lynn Hayes. Autumn Rose Sheldon. Sage Howes. Kyle Bedett. April LaForest. Hannah McCanowitz. Destiny Rollins. Hannah Fletcher. Grace Broderick. Isadora Viana. Casey Moore. Aiden Borowski. Matthew Mathers. Nathan Zink. T. Warren.
Isaac Anello. Jaden Daniel Lampro. Jake Guy. Allison Elizabeth Washburn. Austin James Ruffley. Drew Kendall. Tyler Douglas Olds. Tess Elizabeth Wallet. Jade Elizabeth McWilliams. Hannah Michelle Robbins. Jalen Paige Roberts. Isabel Mary Angeline Viner. Grace Avery Calvert. Annalise Marie Reardon. Elena Michelle Combs. Drew Dunham. Dalal Lytle. Lion Buendia. Dylan Melly. PJ Farmer. Will Borowski. D'Artagnan Von Jagai. Michael Agar. Bailey Groves.
Gillen Pratt. Dylan Clemo. Andrew Sandrini. Abigail Steinman. Tanner Hill. Tim Lennon. Owen Jansen. Pedro Santos. Alex Martin. Chad Howes. Robert Archambault. Kyle Lee. Joseph Warnick. Anthony Funk. Mitch Clayton. Carlton Brooks. Jacob Borowski. Connor Philippi. Jake Hart. Alisa Mara. Dylan Red. Amber Oakley. Varick Connell. Tavian Hanger.
Luca Burgess. Thomas Burris. Damian Kopechny. Xavier Mirabello. Dana Tarbox III. Robert Wayne Genoway. Dayton Kozlowski. Gabriel Verdi. Ethan Carlo Fusini. Hunter LeBrode. Matthew Wallace. Isaiah Lazarus Reed. Eric Reed Ovaltray. Joseph Wilson. Logan Strack. Alexander Shannon. Cassandra Tobler. Cole Harrington. Matthew Fortin. James Philip Scalise II. Devin Kohler. Connor Noyes. Tim Clayton. Kyle Brogan. Olivia Furlong.